It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago. And it's 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Maddog the Scipio, and this is What's the Buzz? America's Best Podcast. And I'm joined tonight. Jesus. I'm joined tonight by Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. God, I hate to ask. I'm afraid to ask you. How are you, Amelia?
Doing good. You sound like it's a bad thing, isn't it?
Oh, well, I never know with you. What comes out of your mouth is sometimes
Well,
I just want to crawl under my
let's see.
console
September,
here.
where's my day? February, March. Well, for the past 7 months, almost eight now, it's like, yay! I'm better because I have the best job ever now. I could tell you since the past 4.5 years.
Yeah, well, this is true.
Yeah.
You're getting a raise. I heard a little birdie told me you're getting a raise.
Yes, and
Good for you.
the best job ever. And I started off with a better pay now that I've had 4.5 years. It took me to get like
Good.
what I'm making now.
Never tell anybody how much you make. Shh.
No, no, no. I started making better now from what I started over there. It took me forever, like 4.5 years, to make what I'm making starting now
Oh
here.
yeah. Well, you had look. Let's be honest about it. You had a supervisor that was jealous of you.
Yeah.
She wanted to be, the big Hispanic on campus.
Hmm.
So
And I was getting compliment after compliment, and a lot of the people in the head office, like my name was mentioned a lot from what I heard, and they
yeah.
wanted to start their own little call center of behavioral health because that's what I wanted to get into, and they
Hmm.
wanted me to start it over there, and I was wanting to, I was ready, but it's like, no, we don't want to get hurt over there, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So I said, oh well, they missed out.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of missed out, Gene Perro from Hamilton Radio in New Jersey was supposed to be our guest tonight. Gene, we'll wait for you another 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and that's it, brother. I got to cut you
Yep.
loose.
Yep.
I am live on the air around the world. I am on BRS, and we can't play.
Nope.
I got sponsors. I got corporate sponsors that time is money, brother. Time is money. So, I mean, if when you're working local radio, you don't care because you're not making any money.
Mm-mm.
But this is not local radio by any stretch of the means.
Absolutely not. We got some
Um,
wonderful listeners all around the world.
all around the world. I mean, all around the world,
Mhm,
literally. We are. I thought about something though.
mhm.
See, Gene works in radio. I thought to myself, you know what? Whether he shows up or not, because I had this gut feeling he wouldn't show up.
Right.
We're going to talk about radio anyway. Who doesn't like the radio?
Absolutely.
I mean, think about that. I mean, you think about this. Just think about this. From the early days back in the 20s and the 30s, before they had television,
Yes.
they had radio.
Oh, absolutely.
Before TV, all you had was radio.
Yes.
People used to sit around, families. Listen to this one, folks, okay? Families used to sit around and listen to the radio. You know what? We need them days back.
Oh, yes.
I think God needs to break the grid, shut all the TVs off, and just have radio stations playing. Do
Yep.
you hear me, Lord? I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, and they were
Because,
only. Mhm,
well, because people, I mean, no, think about it.
mhm.
People used to listen
Yeah.
to the radio and they listened with the kids and the
Yes.
wife and the grandkids. And, you had news on the radio, you had entertainment, you had comedy,
Mhm.
you had drama. Look at one of the most important pieces of Americana
Mhm.
happened on radio. Orson Welles, The War
Yes.
of the Worlds, happened on radio.
Yes.
Of all the places, though, he picked New Jersey to be invaded. Okay, my state. Why? Are we really that bad? Orson, if you're in heaven, you can hear me. Is New Jersey really that bad?
Well, I know that
Answer me when you get a minute.
they said that they could only they didn't want to really play the radio a lot because the batteries back then, even though it wasn't a lot of money to us now, but back then it was a lot of money to play with the batteries.
Well, you had something back then was funny.
Mhm.
I remember when I got my very, very first radio. I got it for Christmas when I was a kid. I got a I'm going to use a word that you kids out there you'll never hear this word. Transistor. Okay? Now, it's not a transistor. Okay? I'm not talking about a transistor. I'm talking about a transistor. Okay? A transistor is a whole different conversation we'd be having. Like we wouldn't be having. Let's put it
No, not in this house.
Not on this show. No, Amelia knows that we don't play like that.
No.
But I thought about this. Transistor radio was the first radio I ever had. And if you guys don't know what a transistor was, like Amelia just referred to, it was a battery.
Yeah.
It was a little tiny silver battery. Then you put regular little AA batteries inside it. But this little transistor was like a battery all by itself.
Yes.
And the big batteries made this little battery work. And you could pick up radio stations from pretty much everywhere in your area. I remember my area was so great for radio because we used to pick up New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. We used to pick up stations as far down as Virginia.
Yes.
And as far north as Massachusetts on a good night. Because that's when I feel like the teacher here tonight. Because back then, your radio stations depended upon the weather.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
They did, really.
And how good your station came in literally depended on which way the wind was blowing. I mean, am I lying? Please tell me if I'm lying.
You're telling the truth because that way you were able to listen to the Grand Ole Opry, maybe depending on the weather.
You could get everything, sure.
Yeah, or maybe at that time, ladies during the day would listen to the Guiding Light, the soap opera that was
on. Yeah, believe it or not, soap operas on the radio because that's where they started.
That's where they started.
People don't understand that. See, Amelia knows because she watches soap operas, so she's into that stuff.
Yeah, and also
I
Paul
only
Harvey.
General Hospital because I wanted to see Luke and Laura get married.
Yeah. And Paul Harvey, I remember that as well because my dad and my grandpa used to talk about
Harvey. Now, Paul Harvey was one of the pioneers.
Yes.
Really, he's one of the pioneers of radio. Paul Harvey had this booming voice.
Yes.
Kind of like he swallowed gravel.
Yes.
That's how Paul Harvey sounded like that. And he would say, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. This is Paul Harvey." And that was his spiel, Go back and you're watching it on YouTube. They have a bunch of the old, radio broadcasts on. One thing about YouTube I really like is they have, they go back. They got all kinds of shit on their YouTube. You can listen to old radio shows. Amos and Andy. Now, that was controversial because Amos and Andy were supposed to be two black guys.
Yeah.
But they were two white guys who were imitating black people. You
listen to that YouTube, that's the only praise that you're going to get from the Maddog.
And you have fucking Black Lives Matter will be on your front lawn,
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
That shows you how much we've changed. Nobody's got a sense of humor anymore.
No, they don't. But did you hear that, YouTube? That's the only praise you're going to get from the Maddog. That's it.
That's about it. She ain't shitting either.
Nope.
She ain't kidding.
Nope.
So let me ask you a question. You grew up in Odessa, Texas.
Yes.
How many radio stations did you guys have in the Odessa. Like what was the biggest area next to Odessa where you guys were?
Midland, Texas. We had
Okay, Midland, Texas is where Bush lives.
yes.
The Bush family, George Bush
Hmm.
Jr. What George W. They call him.
Yeah,
He's got a
unfortunately.
ranch in Midland, Texas.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's the next biggest area, right?
Yeah, it was
So how many radio stations do you guys have back then?
we had KNFM 92.3 because I remember that one because that was a big one that we listened to. And then we had
Hmm.
KG 100, which was station 100, but that was in Odessa. And then we had uh 103.5, which was Fox. And then that was
Hmm.
another one. And then we had 97.9, which was like a mixture one where they had different ones. And then we had some
Right.
Spanish stations.
Well,
So
you
we
have
had
to
a
because you're close
variety.
to Mexico. That's
Yeah,
why.
we had a variety, and then we had
Right.
AM. So, but we had like 4 or 5 major ones, and then, but I grew up listening to country. But then I met this wonderful guy on the radio. His name was Danny Mojica. He was a DJ friend, and always call in as little kids. Me and my sister, can you play so and so music? And we got to know him really, really well, and we got to finally go to where he was going live,
Mhm.
and he said, "Oh, look at here's the Bolero girls." He's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna put us on the radio." And he did every now and
Yeah,
then.
see, Amelia is she's a fangirl. She's a fangirl. She likes. Was he a cowboy?
No, he was a really nice
Oh,
Spanish
because
guy.
Amelia likes naked cowboys.
No,
She,
he was
if you think I'm lying, go onto her TikTok.
no, he
Okay.
would be my parents' age, so I was old enough to be his daughter. He was like a second dad to me.
I'm not saying. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying.
No, he
I'm
was
just
my
saying.
parents' age.
Just
He was like a
I'm a
second dad.
reporter. I have to ask the hard and
Yeah.
inquisitive questions. I am a reporter.
Mhm.
What I do. I report. Report the news.
No, he was a second dad to me. He was really
Sometimes I
great.
report the news before it becomes news.
Right?
This is true.
No.
But here's the thing, though. I'll bet you had a country
Mhm.
station. I'll bet you had a rock and roll station. And I'll bet you had at least one talk station.
Yeah, we did there, and it was all like, and then they finally joined together in Midland, and they decided to come into one building.
Oh, so they made like one super station.
Yeah, they
Well, that's
put
a
all
good
the
idea.
stations into one building in Midland, so they decided to finally join together, and so each
Oh, so they had all these separate stations. Really? They
Mhm.
were working together out of the same building?
Eventually, yes, they
Really?
decided to do that, so that way it could all be together
Oh,
in Midland.
wow. That's a different idea.
Yeah, they did, and it worked fine because that way everybody can have their own, but they left
Yeah.
a few
Oh,
satellites
that's
all
a
in one
great
big building.
idea. You know what?
Hmm.
That's really well, you
Hmm.
know what? It probably worked out better because you're in a rural area.
Yes.
Um, all the stations can pull their resources.
Yes.
Some stations have more power on the
Mhm.
on the satellite.
Mhm.
Some have better air personalities.
Yes.
Some
Mhm.
have better production
Right.
studios.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, that
Mhm.
sounds that's like the perfect storm for radio.
Oh, and then if you want tickets, you just go to the one big building and they will
Mhm.
tell you, okay, you go to studio or like 101A or 201B or something like that. Like
Yeah.
and they how that would just be easier for you to go get your tickets or your album that you want or whatever it was at the
Oh,
time.
sure,
Mhm.
sure. So when I started, I never wanted to do anything other than go into radio.
Mhm.
I knew I was going to go into some kind of entertainment. And I did stand up comedy and I ran comedy clubs. I did that. And that was fun. And I managed bands and I worked with bands and I went on tour with them. And that was fun. And you've heard me say it on the show before. I was a recording engineer. I recorded bands. But you get where I'm going with this. I've always
Right.
been in around music and the business, mostly largely around the music business.
Mhm.
But I never wanted to be a musician for two reasons. Number one, I can't sing. Number two, I can't play really well.
But you're learning.
I'm learning, but
Yeah.
see, I to be honest with you, I am a pretty good drummer.
Okay.
because I had drum lessons when I was a kid, and you don't forget that.
No.
It's like muscle memory. Your hands don't forget.
Mhm.
But trying to translate that into a guitar,
Right.
it's a little because you guys don't know, I got fat fingers, okay?
Mhm.
I got really like my hands look like baseball gloves. You know, they really do. Um, but I remember growing up listening to Wolfman Jack. And I used to you could only get here. Let me tell you about blowing the wind blowing the right way, right?
Mhm.
I used to listen to Wolfman Jack when he was working out of New York back in the mid 60s, 1965, 66. Okay. I was like, 7 years old, 8 years old, around there, somewhere around there. Okay. Now, so Wolfman used to come out of New York. Cousin Brucie used to come out of New York. Murray the K came out of New York City. All of these legendary music disc jockeys came out of New York. And people like in Philadelphia, people like High Lit, Joe Niagara, Banana Joe, um, Jerry Blavitt, oh God, Bob Charger, Big Bob Charger, um, Ken Garland, George Michael, all of these guys that went on to, be very famous and doing
Mhm.
their thing. But the people that it's funny because the people in my city didn't affect me. It was people in New York because they had a certain sound.
Right.
They had that, even though Philadelphia is a big city, New York was like, the grandpop of big cities,
Mhm.
and yeah, people like I said, Wolfman, Cousin Brucie, Alan Freed,
Mhm.
um, oh my God, again, Murray the K, who else? Then you had guys like Joe Franklin, who had a talk show
Right.
out of New York, and I would get all of them but mostly at night because the signal
Was better.
during the daytime, every radio station during the day was banging out their signal.
Right.
Now, remember something, folks. I'm going back to a day when television and radio stations used to stop at midnight.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys are old enough to remember when the television went off at midnight
You get that
and you get
thing.
the Star Spangled Banner would
Mhm.
play and the guy would say, "This concludes our broadcast day.
Yeah.
Join us at 6 a.m. when our broadcast signal continues."
Mhm.
And that's what you would hear.
Yeah.
If people, oh my God, Amelia, if people woke up to that today,
Mhm. They'd be like, "Wait, wait,
there
wait,
would
wait. Where's
be
my TV?"
panic in the streets. There would be anarchy.
Mhm.
Can you imagine if a television station or radio station stopped at midnight?
Oh, people go crazy.
People would think the world had ended,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep.
But man, it might,
They're like,
you
what
never know.
happened?"
No, I don't think we're going anywhere. But that's what I'm talking about, though.
No.
But my love of radio, I always just wanted to be a disc jockey,
No.
and here's why: the music.
Mhm.
I love the music. I love the music I grew up with. I still listen to it today. I have a playlist with like 1,100 songs on it. And I've got everything from Danny and the Juniors to Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
I've got everything from Motley Crue to Elvis Presley. You know, I've got everything from Barry Mann, who nobody even knows, to Barry Manilow,
Mhm.
who everybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for that one producer that when he was appearing on American Idol that one year, she goes, "Who are you?"
Oh,
That was funny. Poor guy.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
horrible.
It's funny.
It was. It was
Um,
horrible, but yeah, I can understand that too. And imagine how people would feel if they only had 3 channels like we did back in the day. We
yeah,
only
we
had 3
had
channels.
ABC, NBC, and CBS.
That's it.
Oh,
And
no, actually, technically, we had 4, Amelia.
and then
We had
Fox.
well,
Fox came.
no, not Fox. Nope, nope,
Mhm.
nope, nope, nope. You
Oh.
had ABC, NBC, CBS, and public
Oh
broadcasting.
yeah, PBS. That's right. Imagine if they only had that.
PBS. Fox didn't come along till much,
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 much later. Yeah.
like I mean, much later, like back in the 90s.
Hmm.
Fox came. I'm talking about 1965,
Yeah.
66.
And now there's
My
like what,
day.
200 something channels. Imagine if they only had that many like we did growing up. Oh my god.
200 channels. Let me tell you what we have now. We got 800 channels and nothing to watch.
Nothing to watch. Nothing
And you
good
got,
anyway.
but, but the one thing that technology did bring us, iHeartRadio,
Yes.
Pandora, Amazon Music, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Pod Owl, Podcast Addict. What else? I mean, there's a so many. My
Yes.
point. Oh, SoundCloud, right? Tune in radio,
When you can watch and
and
listen
of
to
course,
all our shows.
WWTF radio.
Absolutely.
What's the buzz? There you go.
Yeah.
There you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you. Kenneth Jarrett Singleton is here. He says, "You have a great talk radio voice, DeCipio." Thank you so much.
Hmm.
I actually, what's funny, Kenneth? I have to tell you something. I started my career as a rock and roll DJ. You believe it or not, Sridia. I started my career as a rock and roll DJ. Believe it or not, I developed it wasn't the radio that developed my voice. You know what it was? I'm not even making this up. MCing rock concerts
Hmm.
because I produced rock concerts. I managed rock bands. I went on the road with them. I lived out of a suitcase for a year. But introducing concerts with 5,000, 8,000 people, sometimes 500, sometimes 5,000, whoever was there, that's how I learned to project my voice.
Hmm.
Because sometimes the microphone you had was pretty sucky
Yeah.
and you had to speak over the crowd and you had to remembered you had to project from your diaphragm.
Oh,
I had a
absolutely.
voice coach once that said, DeCipio, he used to call me DeCipio, push it, pretend you're pregnant, push it, push it. He used to
Yeah.
say that, and
Hmm.
I didn't understand. I had to say to him, I said,
Yeah.
what do you
Because look.
want me to push? He goes, push that diaphragm in and push that
Mhm.
voice out.
Yeah.
And I was able to use that gift. Thankfully, thank you, God. I was able to use that gift to create
Hmm.
what you
Yeah.
hear now.
Yeah. That's
You
what we
know,
did in choir class. They said to push it from here on up every time. Every
there's a
time.
guy that's been on the show. Amelia loves this guy. She loves this guy. His name's Stephen Plim. What are you laughing for? Stephen Plim came on the show and he said, DeCipio, uh, tell me if I'm lying.
No, because I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
DeCipio, you're the Johnny Carson of podcasting.
Absolutely. Hmm.
It's exactly what he said. Kenneth, that's
Hmm.
exactly what he said.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
said, DeCipio, you're the Johnny Carson of podcasting.
Oh.
But and now here's a guy, he managed Tiny Tim. Okay.
Hmm.
Talk about a guy with a voice. People don't know. But Tiny Tim, you hear him sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Tiptoe through the,
With
like,
a real high pitch.
yeah, that falsetto, right?
Hmm.
I got news for you. Tiny Tim's real voice was deeper than mine.
Hmm.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I'll tell you who else had a deep voice. Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That voice that Michael Jackson put on,
It's not.
that high, that falsetto, the one that's, oh, hi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, welcome. Oh, hello, Oprah. I love
Mm-hmm.
you, Oprah. Let me tell you, here's how Michael sounded. Hi, Oprah. How the fuck are you? That
Yeah.
Michael had a deep ass voice,
Yeah.
bro. He did.
Yeah. And
Michael had a deep voice. But, I developed my voice for radio announcing rock concerts because you had all of these people. Think about, you go to a rock concert, right? Especially if you got, like, you're in a building that holds like 3 or 4,000, 5,000 people. That's a lot of people.
it is. It is.
If you're got a sound system that's shoddy, okay? First of all, the band, they have their own amplifier. Back in the day, like, they had
Mm-hmm.
their own amplifier, right? They still do today,
Yes.
but it's not like the sound you hear now.
No.
They got, you could fill up a 50,000 seat arena
Mm-hmm.
with the shit they got now. Then they got wireless mics and they got all this technology, right? When I was announcing rock concerts and doing the MC and bringing, introducing the bands, sometimes I was louder than the band.
Yeah.
I'm not bragging. I'm not
No, you had
BSing.
to be. You had to be to make sure everybody knew who was coming on next.
Well, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, Neil. You had to get. This is the biggest thing, folks, when you're talking about performing. You have to get their attention, and
Yes.
you have to hold their attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're on stage as a singer. I don't care if you're on stage doing comedy or drama or acting. If you're on a stage and people are looking at you and you're there
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking at you, you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
They're paying to see you. You better be good at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You better be real good at what you do,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
they're going to be rioting, wanting their
They're gonna be
money
going
back.
bye-bye. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Because
You know?
the singer Shania Twain, she was good back in the days, like the early '90s, late '90s, and she
Yeah,
went
she's a country singer, right, from Canada.
right. Yes,
Okay.
and recently she started her tour again, and I heard a lot of people like the beginning of the second song were leaving her concert. They weren't staying.
She doesn't have it
She
anymore.
doesn't have it anymore.
Nope.
She doesn't.
I heard that.
Hmm.
In fact, here's a little spoiler alert. They're canceling the tour.
Yeah, they had to because
They're,
she wasn't making the money anymore. She wasn't
yeah, they're
selling out the
they're
concert.
canceling Shania's tour
Hmm.
because people are asking for their money
Yeah.
back.
Well, because like
I hate to say that, but
mhm.
but
Well,
here's see, this is the part in the show, folks, where me and Amelia take our
mhm.
glasses off. Okay.
Well, it's like Tony Braxton. She can
Why
sing
are we
high.
taking our glasses off?
I had to because it was like I have fingerprints on these things and I don't know where they come from, but
Then take
you,
them off.
like Tony Braxton, she can sing high pitch, low pitch. When she says "unbreak
Hmm.
my heart," how she gets that emotional.
Oh yeah, sure.
Celine Dion, you can see it, and Shania
Oh
Twain is
sure.
who's like, you like, instead of saying "you believe me" like
Yeah.
that, she just like "you
You know what
believe
it
me."
is, Mil?
Yeah, exactly. She
She's
just does
not
that.
invested. She's not invested
No
anymore.
more, no
But
more.
when you're talking about investing yourself in, like, radio, when we're
Hmm.
talking about then and now,
Right.
people don't understand that this thing that we call podcasting,
Hmm.
what you're experiencing with podcasting is radio.
It is.
It's radio. You know why? Because traditional radio stations are dying,
It is. They are.
but people want more variety.
They do.
They want more variety. So you know what? Everybody and their brother's got a podcast.
They do.
And you know what I say? Good. There's plenty for there's let me tell you something, folks. If Amelia and I can do she does her show out of her house. I do my show from my basement studio, okay, in my home. Who would ever think that almost 12 million people would subscribe to our radio feed. Okay. We got over 7 million people just on Spotify alone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think I'm kidding, go to Spotify and check it. I'm not even shitting you.
No.
I am not even kidding you. We got almost 3 million people just on Pandora.
Exactly.
Let me tell you where we are. We are on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible.com, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, Podowl, Podcast Addict. We're on, give me a second, folks. We are on Dovetail Radio. We are on BRS Radio. We're on God, Neil, where else? The other places we're on.
Let's see. Also, of course, let's see.
I'm trying to remember because I mean we're so many places.
Yeah. Twitch. We're on Twitch as well. Yes, and here.
We're on Twitch TV. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not, you know what, I'm gonna pull this up because I think it's really important I do this.
And Truth Social, I believe you can see us on that as well. Let's see.
We're on here we go. Odyssey. We're on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we do that. Let's see here. Let me see here. What else have we got? We got a bunch of stuff going on. We got so much going on. It's like crazy stuff. Let's see. Oh, here you go. Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Odyssey, Audible, Twitter, Podcast One, 181 FM, and thousands more.
Mm-hmm.
We are literally like around the world. We have a global brand, me and the Pitbull.
Yes.
The Maddog and the Pitbull. You know? We were going to call this show the Dog Pound, but we can't because somebody else is using it already.
But I can still put you in the Dog Pound if you make me mad.
You know?
Right? Anybody can make me mad.
That don't take much.
Nope. I've had a few people in there.
All you got to do is start talking trash about this show and watch how she gets upset.
Yeah. Exactly. You just have to start talking trash, and there you go. And
she starts throwing stuff, just ducking.
Yeah, really.
Anyway,
yeah. Watch out.
My favorite radio when I was growing up, and I actually had a chance to work with these guys. I'm in Philadelphia. You can check this out. There was a guy here. He just passed away. My father knew him very, very well growing up. A guy named Jerry Blavitt. Now, I used to listen to Jerry Blavitt on the radio and watch him on TV because he had a dance program on television. Amelia, did you ever see a movie called The In Crowd?
I've heard of it.
I want you to do me a favor, please. Do me a personal favor. I want you to watch the movie called The In Crowd. You can see it on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, type in The In Crowd. The In Crowd movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is about Jerry Blavitt.
Okay.
Okay. The guy from The Godfather played Jerry. Not The Godfather. I'm sorry. The guy that was in The Sopranos played Jerry Blavitt part. Joe Pantoliano. You'll know immediately who he is.
Immediately who he is. Yes.
Yeah. And because he's as soon as you see him, you'll understand who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie was about Jerry breaking into the music business. And it shows the viewer how the radio affected our dance, our society, how it affected the teenagers. Teenagers used to live and die by the radio.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Dick Clark came along with American Bandstand. Now radio went into television.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow, that's wild. That's unique. That never happened before.
Mm-mm.
Now, people that were dancing in the school gym were dancing in a television studio in South Philly.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's where American Bandstand started. It was in Philly, South Philly, at the same studio that you're going to see in that movie, The In Crowd.
Calling the sock hops, huh?
WFIL television in Philadelphia. Okay. Yeah, the sock hops. There's some people don't even know what sock
No.
hops. You know what sock hops are? I'm going to show you what sock hops are. Watch this, folks. I was ready for this one.
Right?
This is the sock hop. Okay.
Yeah.
This
Yep. Join the sock. Yep.
Yep. The man
Remember the
in his socks. That was the
Yep.
sock hop.
And Shauna, I remember them too.
You know why they called them sock hops? This is a serious question. Do you know why they called them sock hops?
I think it was because if they were in the gym, they didn't want to scuff up the gym, right?
That's exactly good for you, smart pitbull. Yep. That's exactly right. Let me tell you what happened. That you had to take your shoes off to get into the gym. You had to dance in your socks.
Yes.
They called it a sock hop. Okay. Now, if you ever tried dancing in your socks, it's pretty fucking hard. Because you slide all over. Exactly. Especially in them gym floors were very slick.
Yep.
Because, the janitor used to polish them gym floors because you play basketball and stuff on them.
And
right?
It seems like he did it more on purpose than the day before, a few hours before the dance, too.
Yeah. You do it too much on purpose, you bust your ass and you won't be able to dance.
No.
You'll end up, at the hospital hop.
Yep.
But no, that's exactly what they did. They used to call them sock hops because you had to take your shoes off to get in the gym.
Yeah, and then also in the 70s, also Solid Gold came along too, as well, I remember.
What was it?
Solid Gold, do you remember that?
Oh, Solid Gold didn't come along till the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, but I'm talking, I'm talking like
Do you remember who was the kind of music your dad influenced you with when you were growing up as well that got you into that?
Say that again. Who influenced?
Yeah, your dad. What kind of music did he listen to that influenced
you? Oh, my dad? Oh, my father was right in the mix of that shit, please. Oh, my God. My father, God rest his soul. I miss my father. My father was a character. My dad was a real character.
Did he do voices too?
He met my mother at a dance.
See, there you
go. She met my father at a dance. They were introduced by my mother's friend, who became my father's best friend throughout his whole life. And yeah, no, they met at a dance in Philadelphia. My father didn't want to go.
Oh, wow.
But his friend talked him into going. Because my father was like kind of a wise guy when he was a kid. He wanted to hang out on the street corner and shoot dice and play for money.
Yeah.
Because he was like a wheeler dealer, like a gambler kind of guy. Tough guy, like a mafia guy, like a tough guy, right? And his friend, whom my mother knew, he wasn't one of them tough. In fact, he grew up to be a cop. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. He grew up to be a cop. So you had the cops on one side and the gangsters
on the other.
Money. But yeah, they met at a sock hop. Let's call it what it is. It was a dance. That's how they met. And my father used to like kind of that like Chuck Berry, Little Richard. He liked that kind of stuff. Elvis, of course. And then there was a group back in the day called the Elgins. And they did a lot of slow music, the slow dance music, that kind of stuff. My father also was a big fan, as I am, of what's called street corner harmony. Like remember that scene in Rocky where the guys are hanging out on the street corner
Oh, yes.
and they're
Uh-huh.
singing and
Mhm.
there's a big can with a fire
Fire
burning
going around. Yeah. Mhm.
to keep them warm.
Yes.
That's for real, okay?
Mhm.
And I got news for you. They still do that
Yeah.
today in
Mhm.
Philadelphia. They still hang out on the street corner. They still sing and they still warm their hands on that fire.
Mhm.
You know, for all I know, it's probably the same can from that movie.
You never know, right?
No, you never know. But I grew up, loving radio, and I actually did talk radio. I did talk radio. I did rock and roll radio. Um, I worked at oh my god, I worked at 3WP radio in Philadelphia, Kicks 101, WAYV 95, WCAU 98, which
Mhm.
later became WOGL, old gold listening. It was called
Mhm.
OGL, old gold listening. I worked for Jerry Blavitt, rest in peace, at his radio station called Geeter Gold Radio. This guy was so successful, he bought his own radio station,
Wow.
and his station is still broadcasting. He passed away,
Mhm.
but I guess he left enough money to keep the station going.
Mm.
What was your? Let's talk about radio formats. What's your favorite kind of radio format? What
Uh,
do you like? You like the music format? You
mhm.
like rock and roll, country? You like talk? What do you like in radio,
Well,
Neil?
I first started liking the country music, but then my mom, of course, would make us go to the Mexican dances, so I had to like listen to that, even though I didn't really like it as much. Because even though we were Mexican, I was like, oh God, do I have to really go to this stuff? I didn't
Did
really
anybody ever say who let the white girl in?
pretty much because I was like so white complected. They're like, who is this person?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and Amelia, no, she's cool with this.
Hmm.
Amelia is the whitest Mexican you'll ever meet.
Yeah, they'll be
I
talking to
swear,
themselves like, who is this person walking in here? Does she know this Mexican people at
right?
all?
Full-blooded Mexican. You're
Yeah.
whiter than I am for crying out loud.
Right. And so we go to
Jeez.
that, and then of course I understand it, speak it, and then but I mainly grew up country. I would have the radio on in my room, singing, dancing, in my room, as
Right?
all teenagers do. And then I started getting into listening to pop music, rock music. I didn't
Yeah.
do the hard stuff like Def Leppard, stuff like that. But of course, I listened to it with the TV, with the movies that, of course, you watch. So I
You
got
said
to
Def Leppard. Those words came out of your mouth. Def Leppard.
Poison. I listened to them, of course, because the music with the
Listen
movies.
to you exploring the boundaries of your
Firehouse, which we
music.
just lost one of
Oh
the
my
singers of
god! And you
Firehouse
talk my
recently.
language. I love you. I'm a metalhead.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Well,
love AC/DC, Motley Crue,
mhm.
Aerosmith, of
I
course.
I listened to Aerosmith's, well, one of the songs, but we just
Oh my
recently
god,
lost
yeah.
someone from
I love
Firehouse.
Average White Band,
Mhm.
White Snake.
Whitesnake? Mhm.
Oh my god, people like oh Jesus, no, not him.
Mhm.
But I do listen to Jesus, but
Mhm.
he don't sing that much, but I do
No,
listen to him. I try to anyway.
right.
Um, what was I going Oh, I remember what I said.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's a kind of interesting thing. You have like your different, I guess, depending on where you're from, you have your
Mhm.
different types of formats that work for certain areas.
Right. Yes.
Um, like up here in the Philadelphia, because we're close to New York anyway. In the Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey area, what's very big here, even still today, is Elvis,
Oh, yes.
doo wop, doo wop music. My father loved doo wop. That was his
Mhm.
favorite music at the sock hops, at the dances.
Right. Mhm.
Um, but he would always get in fights at dances. That's another show. That one. I was just remembering as I
You're
said
trying to
dances, it
keep
reminded me.
you're trying to keep everybody away from your mom, I guess.
You're probably closer to the truth than I want to admit.
No,
But
but at that time I was country when country wasn't cool. That was me at the time.
yeah, there was a song called "I
Yeah,
Was
Barbara
Country."
Mandrill. So at that time,
Wow.
yep, and that was me.
Who stole the song title? You or them?
No, it was Barbara Mandrill who actually created the song, and she sang it with George Jones at the time.
I remember that song. It was a big hit on the radio,
Yeah,
and that was one of those. Here you go. That was one of those crossover songs that went from the country chart to the top 40 chart.
yes.
Now you say top 40 to people.
hmm
They don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
No, they don't.
They don't know what top 40 is. Top 40, folks, for kiddies out there that are under the age of 30 or 40. It's bad when I'm calling a 40-year-old a kid, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause because I could be their father.
hmm
I have a daughter that's 40, okay? You want to talk about this? I have a daughter that's 40. Okay? So yeah, I'm calling you a kid because I call my daughter a kid. I just want her to grow up one day. There was a type of music called top 40 music, and it was all the best of the best. It was the top 40 songs
Yes.
in the country, and
Yes.
guys like Wolfman Jack, Casey Kasem.
AC. Yes.
Casey Kasem used to do the top 40 countdown. Remember?
I remember.
Wolfman Jack used to do the countdown. Cousin Brucie in New York. Murray the K in New York. They all did the top 40 countdown at one point or another. Okay, it's funny because it was always given to a New York radio guy
Right.
to do, because that's where the top 40 came from, New York,
Yes.
because that's who listened to most of it with people in our area. And so when you had the top 40, you were listening to the best of the best.
Yes, absolutely.
Now the music is like so all over the place. There is no top 40. It doesn't exist anymore. You got the top 100, but guess what? That changes every 10 minutes.
It does.
No, I mean literally, it changes
It does.
every 10 minutes
It changes every
because
10 minutes because somebody could be more popular than the next person, like within 2 minutes.
Exactly. At any given, you know how they determine it?
Hmm.
You want to laugh? Here's how they determine it. Who's trending? Who's trending on the internet?
Yeah.
Is it Beyonce? She's still trending.
God,
Is it Rihanna? Is it Taylor Swift?
Ugh.
I don't like any of them. I don't like any of those.
Mark safe from not listening to Beyonce's Texas Hold'em song. Me.
I'm Mark safe from
Oof.
Taylor, Rihanna, Beyonce, Jay-Z. Almost Mark safe from Kanye.
He's different. He's changed a lot, and I will give him credit.
Can I be honest with you? I like Kanye.
Yeah.
I've said it on the show before. I'm still trying to get him on here.
Yeah.
I want him on here. I want to talk to him. He can tell me go fuck myself. I don't care, but I still want him to come on the show.
If anybody out there knows how to get a hold of him, please let him know how to get a hold of Maddog.
Yeah, if anyone out there knows Kanye or how to get a hold of Kanye West, please let him know that the Maddog and the Pitbull, let me tell you something. Here you go. Our information is right here, folks. By the way, let me tell everybody, you can join our YouTube channel for $2.99 a month. You can't buy a loaf of bread for that cheap, okay?
Nope.
$2.99 a month. And what does that get you? It gets you members-only videos. It gets you specialty treatment. You know why? Because you're paying for it. We're giving you privileged stuff here. I get all the best stuff from my listeners. You know why? Because you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve the best. And Amelia and I, the Pitbull and the Maddog, we're going to give you the best of the best. $2.99 a month gets you first listens, private chats, private shows, stuff that the public doesn't see. We have stuff in our archive that's only available to our members. You realize that we've got over right now, like over 600 videos. We've got on just on the YouTube. We've on the radio. We've got our radio on demand is right now over 580. It's actually 584 episodes from comedy, drama, music, talk, you name it. We've had everybody on this show.
Yes.
We just had Broadway actor Ronnie Marmo on the show for his second time. What a great guy Ronnie is.
Oh, yes.
I like having Ronnie here. He never tells us no.
No, he never does.
Ronnie never says no to us because he likes us. I think he likes you because he thinks you're cute or something with that.
I like him from the show from General Hospital.
I think that's why he likes you because you keep reminding him of when he was young on General Hospital.
Yeah, he's my favorite actor in General Hospital.
I only watched General Hospital. Like I said, when Luke and Laura were getting married, I was fully invested. After they got married, okay, that's it. I'm done.
And then remember when I said, Luke and Laura, who and you are? He liked that one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because I was like, who are Luke and Laura? But you're the nice detective on the show.
And all right. Neil, look at this. Wow, we're pushing the 8 o'clock boundary here. Holy crap. So listen, while we're here, why don't we tell everybody what's coming up tomorrow night?
Okay. We're going to be talking about WrestleMania, the winners and losers of WrestleMania, and some other events that happened over a 5-day. Was it a 5-day event that happened? Because I wasn't really sure.
5 days. Can imagine that, right?
Yeah, because my house unfortunately only does like hockey, basketball, college basketball. I wasn't able to.
We're calling it the WrestleMania recap. We're going from Thursday we're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Oh, yeah, it is 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days.
It was they came here Thursday. They did Thursday night. They did NXT. Friday they did Friday SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. Saturday was WrestleMania night 1. At 50 degrees, freezing cold, and they were out there wrestling. Oh yeah, Cody Rhodes said he couldn't wait for Sunday because it was warm.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
It was warm Sunday. They were out there. Did you see Michael Cole?
Yes.
And the guys, they had their coats on.
The female ring announcer
had gloves on his hands.
Yeah, the female ring announcer, she was like covered up like this. I saw.
Oh yeah, it was cold. It was 50 degrees in that stadium with that wind blowing. And then, of course, you had the idiots that were drinking, that were taking their shirts off with the big fat beer bellies, The guys with the painted face and, and oh, my God.
It would be WrestleMania
talk about
that.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to have some fun talking about the fans, WrestleMania fans. Oh, man. What else we got, Neil?
And on the 15th, we're going to talk about Billy Jack Haynes and his arrest. That one is going to be a doozy. I just don't know.
Want to give everybody kind of like a little sneak peek?
Well, this one here, I mean, I understand that he was supposedly a woman's man or whatever. He liked the younger women, but this one, I just don't understand. Well, I kind of understand why he married an older woman because of his money, but, we're going to get more detailed of he was charged.
What? I thought about that, and I'm glad we're talking about this now because I thought about something. In fact, after we got off the air last night, I thought about this. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't make sense to me for a couple of different reasons. First of all, if he wanted to marry somebody for money,
exactly.
there were a lot more eligible people that he already knew who had money.
Right.
So my question would be, why this woman, number one?
Yes.
Did she pursue him or did he pursue her? I want to find that. I want to find the answer to that one.
And two,
The other, oh, go ahead, Bill.
and two, once she died, she was going to leave his money to him anyway.
Well, and that's what I don't understand.
Exactly.
If he thought he was going to inherit, he wasn't getting shit.
Mm.
You know, he wasn't getting nothing. Her kids, this woman was 83 years old, okay? Her children were grown in their 40s and 50s, okay? Do you think they're going to let their mother's fortune go to this guy?
Nope.
Absolutely not. They already lawyered up. But it didn't make sense to me on a couple different levels. And the other thing that didn't set right is, why all of a sudden now did he decide to shoot her when they had fight after fight after fight? And the neighbors had said, and this is on record, it's all part of the record, the neighbors had said that there was the cops were there at least once a week because they always fought. Why now did he decide, to take the drastic measure to shoot her? Where was the gun? Did he have to go get the gun? Was it under the pillow? Was it in the the nightstand? Did he have to go into a closet and get it? These are questions we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know the answer to them. Not yet, we don't, but we're going to find out.
And he could have had
we're reporters, and that's what we do.
Could have had somebody else on the side, maybe something like that. You never know.
And
it's too many questions.
And that's important. Thank you for bringing that up. There have already been, beyond speculation here, that Billy Jack in the past, now, you can't judge the current situation by the past, but you sure can gauge it.
Yeah.
But Billy Jack Haynes was a notorious womanizer.
Yes.
He was also a notorious drinker.
Yeah.
But the other thing Billy Jack was famous for was some of the most outlandish stories in all of wrestling. Right. I'll give you a perfect example. He claims to have been there when Chris Benoit was killed. It gets better. He claims that Vince McMahon hired him to kill another wrestler. I'm not making this up, folks. Please, you got Yahoo or Google or Bing or any of these search. I'm not even shitting you.
No, he's not. He's telling the truth.
The guy has said, and not just once, he said this multiple times, that Vince McMahon paid him to kill people.
Yes, he said that.
Okay, he claims to have been there when, God rest his soul, Owen Hart. He claims to know what happened.
Yes.
Now, you and I both know he was nowhere near that building. Okay? He was nowhere near Kansas City that night.
No, he was not.
But why talk that crazy shit?
I can go further than that because I grew up with him in the wrestling area too, in the around Dallas area. There was even claims that he said that he had something to do with Gino, or he knew about Gino Hernandez. What happened to him?
He claims, I heard that story. Here's what he said about Gino.
Yeah.
But he said two different things.
Yes.
He said, number one, he claims to know who killed Gino.
Yes.
That's the first thing he said. And then he said he claims to know why Gino was killed. Okay, so why he was killed and who killed him are two different things. Okay? But I happen to believe that they are one and the same.
Yeah.
I think the person who killed Gino is the reason Gino got killed.
Yeah.
Because I think that Well, we already know. We
Mhm.
already know that Gino knew his killer.
Yeah.
How do we know that? Of course, he let him in his apartment. You know,
And Billy Jack wanted the attention because it was
he
all around all of that, and that's what he
yeah,
wanted, the
he let
attention.
it. He let him into the apartment.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Billy Jack Haynes was in Portland, Oregon,
He wanted the attention is all it was.
and that's
Mhm.
what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Why is this man obsessed with the attention? He got
Exactly.
plenty of attention. Look, I mean, let's be honest about it.
Mhm.
He got a lot of attention when he was working for Vince. He was
Oh,
making great money.
absolutely.
He was built. He was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know, Billy Jack was jacked, man. He had muscles on top of his muscles.
Yeah.
You know, look at his pictures of posing and
Mm.
flexing his biceps and shit. This guy was a big muscle bound
Yeah,
guy.
he was.
No, so like too many steroids, too many chair shots to the head. What's the problem here, Meal?
Yeah, we gotta find out too if he was under any doctor's care, was he taking any medication, was on any drugs, what's going on with him too. We've gotta find
Yeah,
that
and
as
that's
well.
what we got to find out. We're going to
Yeah,
find out
yeah.
sometime tomorrow.
And
Well,
then
I
on
mean,
the
not tomorrow. In
yeah,
next.
and then the 16th,
And Lou Marconi, a pro wrestler for the NWA, Lou Marconi will be here, and Cuball Carmichael from NWA will be here, and so will Amelia the Pitbull Chapman be here, because we're going to talk about what happened to Billy Jack. Where did it all go wrong? Don't know.
Yep.
And Amelia, you'll join me tomorrow with Michael Armageddon Murphy for the WrestleMania recap.
Yes.
But until then, ladies and gentlemen, from a station high atop the mountain, I
That
had to
deep
throw that
voice
in there.
come around.
I am Angelo, the Mad Dog DeCipio, for Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. We'll see you tomorrow night on America's Best Popcast. What's the Buzz, as we present to you Wrestling with the Future. Take care, folks. See you later. Good night. God bless and the creek don't rise.
Good night.